You're listening to the Tao of Indifference, sex, dating, and relationship advice for an indifferent world. For more advice and tips, check out taoofindifference.com or follow us on Twitter at indifferent_D.
Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Tao of Indifference. Today is episode 18. We don't have a title. This is the beginning of season 2, I guess, if podcasts have seasons. I don't know if they do. But this is the first episode of season 2. We are recording this in 2014, but it will be up in the first weekend of 2015. I am Demetrius, also known as Indifferent D, joined by my co-host Delaney. Delaney, how is it going?
It's going well. How is it going for you?
It's great. I just got Christmas presents from my mother, just like you. And we got sweet, sweet bathrobes where we look like old, comfortable men. Today we're going to go over some dating questions, which you have not seen yet. We're also going to cover the topic for the day, which is going to be secret. I mean, you know it.
Yeah.
We'll go over some few other things. We don't have to get too formal. All right. So, first question. I said I had 4, but really I cut it down to 3 because the other one was... Okay. So, first question is, not sure how... And these are questions from Reddit, from the dating advice subreddit. And the first question is, not sure how to handle the guy I dated a while ago. And the submitter is Resource RY, Resourcery. It's cute. Okay. Let me get the gum out of my mouth. A few weeks back, this guy and I started dating quite intensively. After the 5th date, however, he stopped communicating as much as he did before and started answering texts in a distant way. I replied to this by texting him if something was wrong and if he wanted to stop dating. He replied that he had a lot on his mind, grandma was sick and personal stuff, and it would be smarter to indeed stop dating. I now texted him how he is. I'm assuming this is fairly recent because it was posted 37 minutes ago. Oh. I now texted him how is he because I'm having a hard time to believe that he wanted to stop. He wanted to stop dating me because of his grandma. And I get a normal reply back saying, I'm fine, survived Christmas, how are you? I wonder if I still have a chance on seeing him again, and if not, I just really want to hear if his excuse is true or not. I miss him and think about him a lot, but I'm afraid to come across as a clingy psycho. What should I do? You go first. Take it away.
I think I'm going to take a note out of Demetrius' book this time. I think I think you shouldn't bother with him. Because if he truly felt connected with you, like he could share his feelings with you, he would tell you how he's doing besides he's fine. I know that's a normal guy thing to say I'm fine when you're totally not fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you know this girl's into you and she's asking you how you're doing and I don't know, it's kind of like a douchebag kind of thing to do. Like, even if my grandmother was sick, if you're asking about me, like, you're obviously asking how's my grandmother, how's my family doing, and I just say I'm fine. I think you shouldn't waste your time, and, you know, you can do better.
Wow, I like it. I like it. I've converted you to my negative way of seeing it.
Only on that situation. Like,
I kind of agree with you. I mean, he's probably a douchebag, let's be real.
Yeah.
He's not interested, and you're not. If you do see him again, it won't be in a romantic way, and you're wasting your time by even giving it much thought. I mean, the guy's not into you. Just move on. Okay, next question. Want to ask a guy out that I know from work. I can't because he's a resident. And this is from Teriyaki Chicken. Oh, that's okay. That's
a name.
That's a user's name.
Oh,
that's not the real one. I thought there was going to be a pun in there for some reason. You know? Resourcery was just set the bar so high. Okay. Have you ever asked out someone who was a customer and or a client of yours? I work for a property management company and there's this guy that moved in a couple of months ago that I have a total crush on. I want to ask him out, but I can't because it would be unprofessional. I have a suspicion that he may feel similarly about me based on our interactions. Is there any way at all that I can hint to him that I'm interested without flat out saying it to him or is this a lost cause? I'm going to go first. Well, first I would check with your company's policies on dating clients. I think if you work at a property management company and you're the one figuring out people's leases, you probably can't date the people that rent from you. But if you're like a secretary or an admin or someone behind the scenes, I don't see why it would be a conflict. But just in these cases, I always tell people you should check what your company's policy is on dating within a company or outside of the company, but a client, because most companies do have a policy on who you should date and what. I know most areas you can date whoever, but you have to figure out if it's a conflict of interest. As long as it's not a conflict of interest, go for it. If you don't want to make it awkward, because this is somebody who basically gets a service from the company that you work for, and that service is a place to live, definitely just maybe not say, hey, I'm totally into you, let's go out. You could always ask someone out for drinks or if they're available, and if they say no, you can't pursue them ever again. They cannot play hard to get with you. It's either they're interested and they want to see you or not. So definitely avoid pursuing really aggressively. It's very much, hey, I'm putting myself out there. If you're interested, let me know. If you're not, no worries, no big deal. But it's very sensitive, especially when it comes to like where people live. And I have no clue if this is... Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah. I wish I knew what this person's job was before I said ask them out. Because they could be the janitor, or not janitor, but like the handyman who's always in someone's house, and it can be really creepy.
Yeah.
Because it happens to a lot of women I know, where a handyman asks them out like in their apartment while working on their house. And it's like, no, I don't know. What do you think?
I have to agree on that. I mean, but I've definitely dated people when I worked at a bank who were my customer. Like I've actually gone on like 3 or 4 dates with customers.
Oh no!
But I didn't do the asking out. It was more like, hey, we were just talking. Like, oh, if you ever want to hang out sometime, they just slipped me their number. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And it wasn't like,
oh, okay, yeah, that's
I think that's a good way to do it. Just like, hey, you want to hang out sometime? Maybe me, you, some friends.
Yeah.
I think throwing in friends or other people is always a good way to go.
Throwing in friends is It's funny that you mentioned that because you're younger than me, but there's a bunch of articles about this where, and it was, I think last year and the year before, there was this whole big, it's just the way that modern people date sort of craze where everyone said, well, young people who are like 22 to 25 don't go on dates anymore. They go on like big hangouts with groups, and like that's how they date. And it's funny that you mentioned that because you are in that age range. Yeah, it makes sense. Right.
But I mean, not as a date. I would do that.
No,
to get
it's
to
sort
know
of
the
like
person. Yeah,
it's a non-formalized way to meet people
and non-intimate, so you don't feel awkward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas I hate group dates. I hate when it's like a big hangout because I'm the type of person who will try to get, instead of spending 1 solid hour with one person, I will spend, say, 5 minutes with everybody in the group for an hour.
Oh.
And it just spreads it out, and it's like, oh, everyone got to speak to me, but then I didn't really get to talk about anything in depth. So
I feel like in a group date, I'm sneaky, so I'll just find who I like and pull them aside, and it's no longer a group date.
Shady.
Like it's
so devious. But I mean, it's smart. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
it's really smart. All right, so
the group. I'm sorry. The group date is the distraction. Who you want is you pull aside. So like even if you're with friends, they're like they can still look at their friends if they feel uncomfortable, but if they want to be with you, you can be alone in a corner drinking a beer. I don't know.
That's so smart. It's genius. Man, well done. Is that how you met your girlfriend?
No. I met her at work.
Okay. All right. So, final question. This question is from Throwaway Faraway 90. See, like this is way more. Teriyaki Chicken has to work on their game. All right. So, Throwaway Faraway 90 asked, first date at guy's house for dinner. Does this mean sex? I'm gonna keep going. So I, 21-year-old female, really hit it off with someone, 23-year-old male, at a friend's house party. We chatted all night, but there was minimal flirting, just your general get to know the other person conversations and talking about mutual interests. Anywho, what? That's phrased weird. We got texting a few days after, and after about 2 or 3 days, I'm sorry. The grammar is bad. I'm just going to edit it as I read. Anyway, we started texting a few days after, and after about 2 or 3 days of talking and a bit of flirting, he asked very casually if I wanted to come over for dinner. We've been talking about how he cooks for a hobby, and I was teasing him on his ability, and also there would be drinks. The thing is, I'm a little bit keen on him, but not really for casual sex. I'm only looking for a relationship. I know he's pretty casual about sex from hearing mutual friends talk and about his Tinder adventures, so in retrospect, I'm a little hesitant that I've said yes. Does a date at the other person's house mean sex, even if it's the first date? I have zero qualms about making out, but how do I stop the progression from making out to sex to leaving at the end of the night without making it awkward? Okay, I'm sorry. I had trouble reading that. I had to edit it as I went. Oh, you poor girl. So, I'm going to answer the very subject. First date at the guy's house for dinner. Does this mean sex? It doesn't have to mean sex, but it usually means sex. When I was single and I invited a girl over to my apartment for dinner, and it was a first date, I was assuming that the odds were very likely that I was going to have sex with her on the first date. And generally, and it's not every girl, and I don't want to make it sound like any girl who goes to a guy's house wants to have sex with him, but usually I was right. If a girl went to my house on the first date, she was 9 times out of 10 in my own personal experience. I just want to throw all those caveats in. 9 times out of 10 in my own personal experience, if a girl came to my house for a first date of dinner, we definitely slept together. That's a 90% rate, and not 9 out of 10. 90%. Just to be clear.
I was going to ask you, was it 10 or more?
No one knows, and no one will ever know. It was one. It was my girlfriend and like one other person. Anyway. So, does it mean that he wants to have sex? Probably, based on the fact that if he has a reputation with his friends of like being very casual about sex, it's probably even worse because that's what his friends know. Especially if he's on Tinder. Tinder is mostly used for hookups. Tinder's the dating app. So, does it have to be sex, however? No. I mean, you can go over and hang out and enjoy his cooking and make out and say, listen, I gotta head home now. It's been fun. I've had a great time. Let's hang out again. But the next time you should definitely shoot for a date that is not someone's apartment. Because, again, this is another thing that I used to do, especially when I was like 22 or 23, 24. I would say, hey, let's go on a first date, and I'd cook. And I used to cook a lot. I used to cook on a lot of my first dates because I was broke, and also it was very likely that I was going to have sex if she came over and I cooked because I cook really well. Now, what I would then follow that up with was another date in the apartment. And another date. To the point where I dated, quote unquote, dated a lot of girls, and I never went on dates with them. They would just come over and we would drink cheap wine from Trader Joe's, and I would cook and we would have sex and watch Netflix. And if you are looking for an actual relationship, that is probably not the path you want to go on. Because if I'm a guy and all I want is sex and I'm getting all of that, and you think we're dating if we're just staying in the house, it's a win-win for me because I don't actually have to put in any effort. I don't have to get to know you. All I have to do is invite you over and cook, and then I'm getting laid. And that's it. So, you can go to this guy's house. You don't have to have sex. Don't feel pressured to have sex. You should never feel pressured to have sex. And if you do, you should leave. But you want to avoid making this a regular thing if you just started dating. If you are already dating someone and you want to come over, you want to come over and have him cook and then hook up, that's fine. I mean, that's pretty much most of my time that I spend with my girlfriend is us indoors, having dinner, and then, doing couple stuff. Yeah. What do you think? Should she even go on the date? Should she go to this guy's house?
I was gonna say no.
I like a differing opinion.
I don't think she should because, like you said, it's gonna I can see where this is heading, and this is not going to lead to a relationship. First of all, the guy is known for just having casual sex with girls, so in his mind, unless he just has a sudden change of heart, he's not looking for a relationship. He's just looking for sex, and then you're the next thing. But if you go to his apartment and you don't offer it, he's gonna find someone else, and you're thinking, and he won't tell you. He'll probably be like, yeah, you told us meet up. He's just gonna wait to get you, and then he's gonna get rid of you, and then go back to the casual
cycle.
Just the cycle of casual sex, and then
try to come over and watch a movie.
Yeah, I mean, because you're right now you're the new prey.
Oh my god!
I mean, and once he
so secretly this guy's a werewolf.
Yeah, once he gets a taste of you, he's gonna get sick of it and move on to the next thing.
Sex werewolf.
I mean, because I know that I've been that guy, sort of. I just been the one who just wants to go out and hook up, and the girl be like, yeah, I want a relationship, but I'll try to trick her or try to persuade her into no, you just want to hook up with me, and then you know what I mean. So I know.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean. That's why I'm saying I think that she can go on that date if she wants to, but I think you're right. I think that the odds are it doesn't. He's not going to take you seriously no matter what.
Yeah.
Pray. All right. So that is it for questions. Thank you for my show notes.
You're welcome.
So I wanted to quickly go over the topic of the day, which is quite simply that it's okay to be alone. I wrote it, I think, the day before Christmas, and Christmas was on my mind, holidays, family, etc. And I was thinking about just all the people that I know with all these, I go on Facebook. You don't have Facebook, but I go on Facebook, and every picture is a smiling family or a smiling couple. Everyone looks like they're having the best time of all time.
Yeah. In
every Facebook, I go through my feed, and I'm scrolling down, and it's just happiness upon happiness. And I was thinking about just all the people who don't have a couple, who aren't part of a couple, or whose friends are out of town because, their families don't live in the city, or whatever, or, they lost a loved one, they maybe just recently broke up. I've been through I had a breakup in the beginning of, December 1st, somebody broke up with me a while ago, not recently.
Yeah.
Which leads me to a story I'm going to tell a little later. So, I just wanted to tell people that it's okay to be alone. And if you're alone because it's your choice, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're alone because you've lost someone, whether they passed or they left you, you need to go out, and maybe you need to, maybe you don't, but if it bothers you, you need to go out and find someone new. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you find someone that replaces them, just that you need people in your life. Humans are not solitary by nature. We just are better in groups, both mentally and physically. Yeah, it's just, when you become a solitary, sedentary person, you just wither your brain. Just,
yeah.
So, I wanted to tell a story, which I wrote in my post. So, the background that I left out of the story was that I was dating a girl for 6 months, from about June to December, and the day before we were supposed to hang out, and all my friends are we're all going to this thing, this big show, and she breaks up with me that day. She's like, yeah, I'm not into you anymore, or she didn't really give me a reason. I didn't really ask for a reason because I don't care. That's sort of my thing. It's I'm indifferent to the reason. It doesn't matter in the long run. Anyway, so that day I hook up with someone. So, my grieving period was very short. So this was a friend of a friend, and so I've been dating her a month at this point by the time New Year's Eve rolls around. So it's New Year's Eve, and she's like, hey, do you want to go hang out with so-and-so? I'm not going to name names, because then it's going to get real personal real quick. Do you want to hang out in this bar in the West Village called Village Tavern? And I'd been there a year ago. Same exact place a year ago for New Year's Eve, and I hated it. I had one of the absolute worst New Year's Eves ever. And that was why. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. You and your friends are doing that. I'm not going to do that. Or I sort of left it up in the air. So then I had one group of friends say, hey, come with us to Bushwick. We're doing this party. It's going to be low-key. You're going to enjoy it. And it was one other group of friends who was saying, hey, we're hanging out in this other part of Brooklyn, like Bed-Stuy or I forget where. You should come out. We're going to do this. And I decided to spend New Year's alone. And this was the first year, and still to this day, this is the only time I've ever spent New Year's alone. Absolutely only time. I've always spent it with friends or family or somebody I was dating. And it was one of the best New Year's I've ever had. And not everyone has that luxury. Not everyone can say, well, I'm just not going to hang out with anyone today. And I can do that. I have the luxury of not just holidays, but any day where if I wanted to, I can hang out with somebody that I want to hang out with. I could text a friend and say, hey, I'm coming over. Or, you know, what are we doing tonight? And 9 times out of 10, I flake. Because I hate taking cabs. And some of the places my friends live, I have to take a cab home. But it's okay. Like, I enjoy being alone. I enjoy my aloneness. I've been alone in my apartment since Friday morning. So after the day after Christmas, I spent alone. And I've been alone until you came over. Which has been great. But some people don't know how to handle it, or some people think that it's inherently bad, and to them I say there's nothing wrong with being alone. If people want to be around you and they're just not around you now, that means that someone likes you, and you should probably like yourself as much as them. So, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I just learned something new about my computer. I'll tell you about it. But I just want to say that, and I'm happy you're here, and you broke my aloneness to record.
I'm happy to be here.
Have you ever spent, like, a major holiday alone?
I mean, I spent it alone by choice. Like, I was around people, but I decided that I didn't want to stay up for the ball dropping.
Okay.
I fell asleep before the ball dropping 2 times.
Like, as an adult?
Yeah. I didn't want to do it. I was like, you know what? I get, it's nice to be around family, but sometimes I just want to, like, I would, put myself in a corner.
Yeah.
And I just lay on my bed, be with my own thoughts.
That makes sense. I think that more people should spend time alone with their own thoughts and just enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Non-sexually. Just figure out what you want out of the new year. If I say this, I mean, it's going to go up after New Year's Eve has passed, but people really should spend time to reflect on what they want, and not just in a monetary or thing way, but what do you want yourself to be? What do you want to be in the next year? Do you want to be more indifferent? Want to be less indifferent? Want to be cooler? Want to date better? Things like that. Give it some thought, and then think about what you're going to do to make that happen in the new year. So yeah. So, Happy New Year, since this will be up after.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year indeed. So, that's out of the way. I just wanted to thank everyone, since this is I think, this isn't the season finale. This is the season premiere of Season 2. So, thank you again for writing up my show notes.
You're welcome.
So, I just wanted to spend some time to reflect on the Tao of Indifference. I've got little points that I wrote out. So, Tao of Indifference, I've been writing for 2 full years. January, I think, is my anniversary. I started writing completely on a whim because my friends always said that I gave really good dating advice. And I helped a friend with her coding for her website. Mm-hmm. My friend Emily Roberts, who I linked to in my It's Okay to Be Alone post. She's awesome. She's a therapist, and she's on TV now, which is new for her. Good for her. So I started writing just purely because I was inspired for her, because she writes a blog on positivity and self-confidence, and I was like, oh, I could write something. Hers is way better. The podcast has been going on for a year. I believe I started that in January because I wanted to do something new and diversify. So it's been a good year. I think we got out 17 episodes in 2014. I'm going to try to do a lot more now that I have a host. Thank you for agreeing to host. That's new. I got you to host the last 4.
This is the 4th one.
This is the 4th one, but the 3 in the... Yeah. No. So I'm hoping that I'll record a lot more because I sort of started slacking because I was looking for a new job during the year, which I found. That's new for me for the year. I got a new job. I started the Ladies On series, which I have like 4 videos that I haven't posted yet, and I keep forgetting to edit.
Oh.
And I'm just sort of holding them in my pocket. Well, the person that I'll tell you about it offline.
Okay.
But, yeah, I got to see about the viability of keeping it going. Those things are... It's hard to organize. Anyway. So, another thing that happened in 2014. 2014 was the first year in 11 years. So, from 2003 to 2013, at some point in every single one of those years, I met and went on a date with someone from an online dating website. 2014 is the only year in which I never did that.
Oh, cool.
2014 is the only year, as an adult, since I was 18,
that
I did not go on a date with someone from online because I was in a relationship. 2014 was also the first year where I was not single for the full year. Because I've always been single in like half of one year and half of the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, or even just parts of the other. Like my last girlfriend, when I got with her and when I broke up with her, it was like over 2 years. It was like a year and a half, but the way it split out, it's like, that 2008, I was single part of the year. In 2009, I was single like one half of the year. So, yeah, so this is new. This is like a full solid year of me being booed up. I got a new job, of course, which has been great. I somehow write more, even though I used to write less at my old job, and I had so much free time that I could write. I was just like so down about work. My new job, I get to I write less. I don't write in my office. I write like at home, but for some reason I'm not like stifled by my job, so I actually write more. I've been keeping up.
Cool.
My website was redesigned. I'm assuming that if you're listening to this, you probably saw my website. I used to have my website was completely different. This one's a lot more user-friendly and mobile optimized, etc. And finally, the coolest thing was that I moved away from completely just focusing on online dating and dating for the blog. It became more about like dating advice that also functions as life advice. Relationship advice, because now I'm in a relationship, and some sex stuff, but not just this is how you fix your online dating profile, or I don't have an online dating profile anymore. That my advice on that would be 2 years old at this point. So that was 2014 in a nutshell. 2015, I'm really, really looking forward to recording more podcasts with you. Obviously, I've been enjoying that very much, and I think that you are very insightful. So thanks.
Thank you.
I mean, you're welcome, I guess. And just writing more. What are you happy about for 2014?
Oh, it's so much. Well, this year, the beginning of this year, January 10th, I was hired at my job I work now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Organic Avenue. So January 10th is
don't
my...
Don't plug them. They haven't paid me. So you work at a place.
I work at a juice place.
Yeah.
Also, I am in a relationship that started this year.
Oh, that's right.
I was promoted to a supervisor position, and
nice.
Early next year I'm supposed to be getting a management position.
Nice. Looking forward to 2015.
Yeah, and getting older, I don't know, that's fun. And my daughter's, when I get older, my daughter gets older, so that's really why I look forward to getting older, is because I get to see her grow. And
yeah, that's better than all the stuff I had.
Yeah. No, that's not
No,
true.
I'm
And
kidding.
then,
I was just messing with you.
and then also doing the podcast. You know, it's my way of performing. I'm not really performing. I'm not acting, but it's a way of expression. I really like self-expression, and I think it's really cool to do this.
Awesome. All right.
It's a cool year.
I think that's it. This is going to be a really good quote unquote season. It'll be a season the way that like ABC has TV shows on seasons where they put out 40 episodes and like only 10 of them are good. So we're not going to do like a British TV show where there's only 6 episodes and they're all good. All right. Well, thank you very much. And as always, now I'm going to close it. I'm stretching now because this would be the first one of 2015. Please subscribe to The Tao of Indifference on iTunes or Stitcher. Please subscribe and like us on YouTube. Like us and follow us on Facebook. You can follow me at indifferent_D on Twitter. And as always, good luck out there. Bye.